Hello. Alright, we're actually taking it back to last year as I had made these props for my Jeepers Creepers costume, and I was going to include them in my last year's Halloween series, but as I do, I ran out of time, so they made it to the list this year. And they are fairly simple to make, and made almost entirely of garbage, literal garbage. Firstly, I wanted to make sure that the length of the body could fit on the table I was doing this on, and to keep it as structurally sound as possible, so I used the only human body that I have readily available in access to me, which is my own. Say the head goes there. Then a whiteboard marker to map out where each portion of the body would be. Then it was time for the garbage. A place I used to work had a tendency to throw out a lot of plastic, and I got tired of seeing it happen, so I started collecting it like a raccoon. I knew I would be able to use it for something, and something I did use it for. If I've made anything clear on this channel, it's definitely that single-use plastic is not single-use plastic for me. Also, I had a lot of leftover saran wrap from last time I moved. Yes, I really do keep everything. Single-use plastic who? The idea behind this is simple. As I stated, I used the garbage bag that someone from said job had sent me home with all the garbage to start the body. I started on the head and basically just stuffed it with as much plastic, no matter what kind of color or what it was. Just to be clear, this plastic was not actually in contact with any food or anything, so there's no chance of molding, but it did have a lot of dirt on it, so I did use gloves for the majority of this. Anywho, I digress. I did this until it looked like maybe the size of my average sized head. With little excess sticking out the bottom, so the neck wouldn't just flop over. Then, because this is a black garbage bag, I'm using silver duct tape so it shows easily. Not too tight as I wanted to be able to give the appearance of a neck, of course. Just tiny enough so the plastic in the head actually stays put. I then used the rest of the garbage bag to create more of the torso. Being sure to tie the end off, even though it does create a weird point at the bottom, trust the process. I'm using a brand new garbage bag, basically the only new thing in this entire project, and scooping the existing portion of the torso into it. I should also note that I've already put some plastic in this half of the garbage bag. To secure both bags together though, I am simply using the tassels of sorts from my second bag, and literally just tying them into a knot around random pieces of the first bag. No specific area, just wherever I had already had them placed. Now it is secure but not completely attached. I taped up the bottom portion using the same approximate amount as I did for the head, but manipulating it in a way that instead of being all balled up like a head is, as the head was, it's thinner and more rectangular, like feet would be. And let me tell you, the only correct way to rip duct tape from itself is with your teeth, apparently. Now that the legs and head are done, it's basically just tomfoolery to shape the body, a lot of tugging, pushing, etc. When I get it to the place that I want, I immediately come in with more duct tape and go around 3 to 5 times probably, sometimes more, but very rarely less. This is also where it comes in handy that I haven't fully taped off the top to the bottom. I can also mess around with its insides, rearrange its guts of sorts, which sounds borderline pornographic, but I swear it's not. When I am happy with the place of the bottom in comparison to the top, I finally get it taped off at the seam. Although sometimes you may need to let the air out, which sounds a little farty, and I laugh every single time. Ooh, that was scary. Here. I will be back. This is not the end, but just the beginning, as I was happy with the shape, so I decided I want to create a second one, a white one. A little different, as I had accidentally bought the wrong kind of draping cloth, or like, I don't know what these are called, drop sheets, I guess? And instead of throwing it away, I decided to use it here. Let me be clear, I have used this kind of drop cloth, it's plastic, so most, if not all, of the paint I put on it just crumbles off and it frustrates me. It's all the same steps, except because it's white and more transparent than a garbage bag, I had to be more aware and intentional with what colors I was using where, and double, triple, or even quadruple the layers up. I did also know that I would be using fake blood on this, so having the red show through on the head, red on the head, was not an issue. That is definitely something. Okay. Speaking of, for the fake blood, I simply used a deep red acrylic paint and acrylic medium that would normally turn the acrylic paint into somewhat of a fabric paint. But I really just needed to have a little bit more give and not just crack off, which, efficient to say, with everything I put it through, all of it stayed on. Also, I did mix it with a toothbrush. A toothbrush specifically dedicated to my arts and crafts. Never has been and never will be used in any mouth ever. At first I added this to the inside as I didn't know how it would work, drying and transferring wise, but I knew that because this is transparent, if I added it on the inside, however it dried down, wouldn't matter if it wasn't going to be touched. As I added more fake blood, I continued taping pieces down. If you hadn't noticed, the other difference between these two are that I'm using a black tape on this one. I also found that if there's maybe too much excess white on this one or black on the other one of plastic, I could easily enough just pull it up or down to the nearest tape down part and use more of that tape to tighten it up. And it was virtually flawless. Though for this one, I needed to close up the feet area, and I didn't want to add more black because that wouldn't make sense. And I'm always going for the highest execution, no pun intended, of creepy. Never want to break the illusion, so I use clear masking tape and it worked like a charm. Oh, and then obviously more blood. I even went as far as to paint my hand, with a glove on of course, with the red paint and then place it on top of the face area. It's kind of given Will. Now we go back to the black one, as I told you I would. As I said, all of the same or very similar steps, except maybe a little bit more serial killer vibes for this one apparently. Shh. Which is funny because I had already thought that when I put the clear one down, I was giving kind of texture vibes. that show has just changed us as a society. Once the top or front was dry on both, I flipped them over and continued on the back or bottom. Also, when I had said that this video is a throwback to my Jeepers Creepers costume, I really wasn't kidding. Apparently, I forgot to include this footage as it was on the tail end of one of these clips, so here you go. If you ever wondered how I cut up the back of the Jeepers Creepers jacket, now you know. With scissors. It's a good thing I live alone. Oh boy. Honestly, I'm really glad we're doing this closer to October, because I don't want to deal with people seeing this not close to October. Anyways, that is it for today's video, and I hope you guys enjoy. See you in my next one. Happy Halloween, guys.